Imagine walking into your own home after a grueling day, only to have your family barge in, bragging about their perfect outing, completely oblivious that it's your birthday. But when the truth hits them like a freight train, the silence is deafening, and that's when I finally snapped stick around. Because this revenge isn't violent, it's visceral. Hey everyone, if you've ever felt invisible in your own life, overlooked by the people who should care the most, this story will hit home hard. It's all about that sweet, satisfying moment when justice finally swings back around. If you're here for real-life karma that leaves you cheering, smash that like button, subscribe for more Reddit revenge tales, and let's dive in. This one's going to make you feel seen. It was supposed to be my day. You know, that one day a year where the world, or at least your corner of it, revolves around you. But as the sun rose on my birthday, the house was quiet, too quiet. My alarm buzzed like any other morning. Pulling me from a restless sleep, I could hear the faint rustle of my kids still tucked in bed, their soft breaths the only sound breaking the silence. My mom had arrived early to help with the school run while I headed to my full-time job. She bustled in with her usual efficiency, keys jingling in her hand, but not a word about the date. No happy birthday, no warm hug, just a quick nod and instructions for the day. I shook it off at first. Maybe she was saving it for later after all. A week ago, during my granddad's birthday gathering, everyone had handed me my cards, early lumped in with his celebrations like an afterthought. 3 cards in total, 1 from Mom, scribbled with a generic message. 1 from my kids, covered in crayon hearts that made my chest ache with love. And 1 from my grandparents, formal and distant. I tucked them away, telling myself it was fine, but deep down, a knot twisted in my stomach, the kind that whispers you're not worth remembering. As I drove to work, the city blurred past in a gray haze, the radio droning on about nothing important. I pulled into the parking lot, forcing a smile. Surely someone here would remember. The company had even sent out an email blast the day before. Don't forget to wish Lisa a happy birthday tomorrow. It was right there in black and white, impossible to miss. But as I walked through the office doors, the hum of keyboards and muffled conversations greeted me, nothing else. Colleagues nodded hello. Buried in their screens, no balloons, no cake, no casual. Hey, happy birthday. The hours ticked by in a monotonous grind, each meeting and email chipping away at that fragile hope. By lunchtime, the knot in my gut had tightened into full-blown frustration. Was I invisible? And then, as I signed out at the end of the day, the receptionist glanced up with a puzzled frown. Whose birthday is it today? She asked, tapping her pen. My heart skipped false hope, flickering like a faulty light bulb. Maybe this was it. The start of some belated recognition. I swallowed hard, my voice steady but edged with disappointment. It's mine. Her face dropped, eyes widening in that split-second realization of awkwardness. She stammered something incoherent, but I was already turning away, the door swinging shut behind me with a final click. The cool evening air hit my face, but it did nothing to ease the burn in my chest. Frustration boiled over into a quiet rage. How could an entire office forget after being reminded? Picking up my kids from school was the one bright spot I clung to. They spotted me from across the playground and came running, their small arms wrapping around me in the biggest, messiest hug. For a moment, the world felt right, their laughter like sunlight piercing clouds. Mommy, what presents did you get? My youngest asked, eyes wide with excitement. I hesitated, clustering on a smile. I didn't get any, but I got 3 lovely cards. And that's more than enough. Their faces crumpled instantly, tears welling up as they clutched my hands. We're sad for you, my older one whispered, voice breaking. Before I could reassure them, they darted off, plucking daisies and dandelions from the grass tidy. Wilted flowers thrust into my palms because they couldn't bear the thought of me having nothing. My throat tightened, eyes stinging in that moment. Their innocent kindness shattered me more than the neglect ever could. How was it that my children, so young and pure, were the only ones who truly saw me. We headed home, the car ride filled with their chatter about school, but my mind raced. I do everything for this family as a full-time single parent, full-time worker, and part-time carer for my granddad. My days blurred into an endless cycle of giving. I listened to Mom's endless vents like a therapist, planned elaborate birthdays for everyone else's cakes, surprises, the works I made them feel loved, appreciated, like they mattered but me. I was just the reliable one, the invisible glue holding it all together by 6 p.m. Exhaustion weighed on me like a wet blanket. That's when my phone rang. My grandparents and Mom, on their way back from a lovely day at the beach. Laughter echoed through the speaker as they described the waves crashing, the sand between their toes, the ice creams melting in the sun. Put the kettle on. Mom said cheerfully, "We're popping over for tea." Not a hint of acknowledgement. My pulse quickened, another flicker of false hope. Maybe they'd surprise me now. With cake or apologies hidden in their bags, they arrived flushed and grinning, tracking sand across my floor. "Oh, you should have seen it," Mom gushed. Sinking into the sofa, the sea was sparkling, and we had the best fish and chips. "Shame you were stuck at work, eh?" My grandparents chimed in, their voices overlapping in excited recounting. Each detail a subtle jab at my ordinary day. The air grew thick, the scent of salt water clinging to their clothes like a taunt. Inside, my thoughts screamed, "Don't they remember? Can't they see how this hurts?" I forced a tight smile, pouring tea with trembling hands. The steam rose, mirroring the heat building in my veins, but they kept going, laughing about inside jokes from the day. Completely blind to my silence, frustration morphed into a searing injustice. Years of being treated like a side character in my own life, flashing before me. I wasn't their daughter. I was their convenience. That's when the breaking point hit, like a dam cracking under pressure. I set down my cup with a clink that echoed too loudly. "Drink up and leave," I said, my voice low but firm. "I'm not in the mood for guests." They froze, then burst into laughter. "Oh, come on, you're just in a mood," Mom teased, waving a hand, jealous you didn't get to join the fun. My grandparents nodded along, smirks playing on their lips, arrogant, oblivious. Doubling down on the hurt without a second thought, something inside me snapped. The room fell silent as I met their eyes. "What day is it?" I asked, each word deliberate, hanging in the air like a guillotine second stretched into eternity. Their faces shifted confusion, then dawning horror. Mom's mouth opened, but I cut her off. "Get out, no yelling." Just cold finality. The powerlessness I'd felt all day evaporated, replaced by a steely resolve. This wasn't just about today. It was about every overlooked moment, every time I'd swallowed my pain to keep the peace in my mind. The plan crystallized in that instant, not some elaborate scheme, but a quiet revolution. I'd stopped being their everything. No more endless caring for Granddad without thanks. No more therapy sessions for Mom. No more prioritizing their needs over mine. I'd reclaim my time, my energy, my worth. Doubt flickered. Would they even notice? Would it hurt them like it hurt me? But determination won out. This was my revenge, making them feel the void they'd created in me. They gathered their things in stunned silence. I pictured the days ahead me saying no, boundaries like walls they'd never seen coming. The execution was simple. Tense watching them file out the door, Mom's face pale. Granddad mumbling apologies too late, no dramatic chase. Just the click of the lock behind them. The air cleared, silence settled, my heart pounded. But for the first time that day, it was with triumph. They left without another word, the door slamming like a punctuation mark on years of imbalance. Mom's eyes had widened in disbelief, her usual confidence crumbling into humiliated shock. Granddad shuffled out, head down, muttering something about forgetting his arrogance, exposed as fragile. And Mom? She paused on the threshold, anger flashing before melting into raw guilt. Like she'd been slapped with her own hypocrisy. No begging, no theatrics. But the look on their faces said it all. They'd finally felt the sting of being sidelined for me. It was released. Tears came then, hot and cleansing. As I sank to the floor, clutching those daisies, relief washed over me, not petty joy, but true triumph. I'd taken back control. Served them a dose of the invisibility. They'd fed me justice, quiet and cutting in the end. This wasn't about hurting them, it was about honoring myself. Karma isn't always fireworks. Sometimes it's the quiet boundary that echoes loudest. Remember, you deserve to be seen, celebrated, and never taken for granted. If that story fired you up or gave you those justice chills, hit that like button hard and drop a comment. What's the most overlooked moment in your life that led to sweet revenge? Subscribe for more Reddit tailies that pack an emotional punch. I'll see you in the next one. Peace out.